and welcome to the first official day of vlogtober. Oh, cheer sound effect here. As you might be able to tell, I'm not well and I feel alright, but like my cough keeps getting worse gradually. So if I do happen to lose my voice during the course of vlogtober, I'll just like closed caption things, or maybe learn some sign language, or just do like an interpretive dance. I'm also drinking a coffee to try and keep the energy levels high. Right, so for the first official video of vlogtober, I thought I would do my favourite Halloween films. Wow, nobody asked for this. So while horror movies are like quintessentially Halloweeny, spooky, there's also a lot of other films that I like to watch in like the run up to Halloween to like get me proper in the spoopy Halloween mood. I've compiled a list of my personal favourite films to watch in like the month of October, I guess, that are Halloween themed. You get the point, here we go. So when I think Halloween movies, the first one that comes to mind is Hocus Pocus. If you haven't seen Hocus Pocus, like, pause this, go and buy a copy at a reputable DVD merchant and watch Hocus Pocus, because it's like I can't give an unbiased opinion on Hocus Pocus because I grew up watching it. I grew up watching a lot of these films, which honestly says a lot about me as a person. But Hocus Pocus is basically the story of three witches, the Sanderson sisters, who try and murder all the children in an asylum, you know, as witches do back in the day, and then they get hanged, they're hung for witchcraft and, you know, murder and whatever. And then they lay a curse that if someone lights the black flame candle, then they will be resurrected from the dead. Whoa. And that's what happens, and it's a 90s live action Disney movie starring Bette Midler, so like, what more could you want? What more do you want in your life? So this wouldn't be a Halloween movie favourites without The Nightmare Before Christmas, let's face it. The Nightmare Before Christmas is an animated Tim Burton film. If you haven't seen it, I'm just going to say that about all these films, like, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, because it's my favourite and you should watch my favourite film. But like, really, The Nightmare Before Christmas is an animated film about Jack Skellington, you know, the one, that emo icon who lives in Halloween Town, and he's the Pumpkin King. And like one day after Halloween, he just kind of gets fed up and he's like, there must be more to life than Halloween, which I don't think is a true statement, but he goes in search of something else and he finds Christmas Town and tries to bring Christmas to Halloween Town, and it's just great. And the like stop motion animation is incredible, and there's a Danny Elfman score, and like, what more could you want? So while we're on the animated films path, I thought I'd mention Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. I grew up watching like all of the Scooby-Doo movies on DVD, but this one's the most Halloweeny. Honestly, should have googled this beforehand, but like, basically they go to a town for like some normal, non-investigating a mystery purpose, and then a mystery happens and they're all like, oh wow, there's a witch's ghost, we better find out if it's a real witch. And, you know, Scooby-Doo, it's just a Scooby-Doo film, but like Tim Curry's voice acting in it, you can't go wrong. Also, the Hex Kiddos are in it. The Hex Kiddos have a dear place in my heart as a spooky child, so Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost would recommend. I was going to try and keep the Tim Burton films in this list to a minimum, but that did not happen, did it? I should mention this is like a top 10, but not in any order. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? Right, so another Tim Burton film which is like quintessentially Halloweeny is Beetlejuice. I don't think I need to explain the plot of Beetlejuice to anyone, but like, in case you've never heard of it. So there's this couple who die in a car crash and they become ghosts trapped in their own house. but then people move into their house and obviously like can't see them because they're ghosts, so they hire Beetlejuice to come and like scare them out, but Beetlejuice is like a bit of a vampot, you know, and like he's a bit evil, and it just, you know, spirals from there. But it's another Danny Elfman, Tim Burton film, and like the effects in it for the 80s are just really good, and I just love the like colour palette and tone of the film. It's just lovely, and the acting in it's so good, and I love Michael Keaton, and yeah, Winona Ryder, brilliant. Halloween, ooh. So another 80s Halloween film, there's a few 80s Halloween films on this, but another favourite of mine is Fright Night. Now Fright Night is like, I would say it's highly underrated. There was like, you know, the remake and it wasn't that good. The original Fright Night is just so iconic in my mind, and I just want everyone I ever meet to watch Fright Night because it's just such a good movie. But basically Fright Night is about this boy, Charlie, who gets a new neighbour who he thinks is a vampire because he sees him like creeping about and stuff. He tells his mum and his mum's like nah, and then he goes to Peter Vincent, who's like on TV, he's like a vampire hunter and does all these like spooky things, and he goes to him, but it turns out he's actually a phony because he's just acting because he's a normal person. And then Charlie tries to enlist him and his friends to murder his neighbour who he thinks is a vampire, but doesn't have conclusive proof. Like, okay. So in the theme of 80s spooky films, Ghostbusters, like it wouldn't be a Halloween film video if I didn't mention Ghostbusters. I recently watched an essay video, and if I can find it I'll link it down below, but it was basically about how Ghostbusters isn't about anything because it doesn't have like a central theme. There's not really any character development in it, and it's just, but it's still a wonderful film, and like a lot of films that don't have that are absolute trash. Suicide Squad. But like it doesn't even really have a main character. Like there's a few main characters, but there's not a central character, there's not really a villain. Somehow it's still like an incredible film. I think the characters in it are just already so well developed and unique and lovable that it just works weirdly, and the effects in it are great. I love 80s effects in films. So Ghostbusters, everybody knows about Ghostbusters and how good it is, and I would recommend it in the Halloween season. Ghostbusters. So instead of an 80s film, we now have a 90s film. Just in case you were like, the ratio of 90s to 80s films in this list really isn't good enough. Here's a 90s film, Addams Family Values. I would argue that this is the best Addams Family incarnation. The TV show from the 60s is obviously iconic, but in this 90s movie the characters are so well developed, and the tone and the costuming and like the set dressing. It's just a beautiful film because it's like beautiful in its creepiness. The previous one, The Addams Family, the same cast, is really good. I really do like it, but this one's my favourite. Like when Wednesday goes to summer camp, I think that's this one, and she gets like a baby brother. Don't watch the 90s one with Tim Curry in it. I love Tim Curry, but no. My second last film on the list is, it's not obscure, it's also a 90s film. There's a definite theme in this video, but it's Practical Magic, which I will admit I've only seen a handful of times. I feel like I need the use of Google to summarise this plot. What has life become? I mean, it's not a great film, like technically, objectively, but like, you know when you get a film that just has like lovable characters and actors in it, like you can enjoy it without it being brilliant. That's this film. So Practical Magic is about two sisters played by Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman who come into the care of their aunts. They're like a family of witches basically. And in the film, Nicole Kidman, Gillian, is like trying to get away from an abusive relationship that she's in, and her sister Sally, Sandra Bullock, like brings her back to the aunt's house. The version of Crystal that Stevie Nicks does in the Practical Magic soundtrack feel like I haven't really sold Practical Magic to you, but it's just a good movie. If you like kind of cheesy 90s movies and you like movies about witches and stuff, then Practical Magic is for you. The final movie on my list of Halloween favourites, finally, is probably the most obscure one on the list, which is why I saved it for last. It is a Carry On film, Carry On Screaming. Now if you're not British, you might not know what the Carry On films are. Right, so the Carry On films are a series of comedy films with like the same group of actors in most of them. And they are a bit dated, you know, whatever, but like they're still classics. But basically Carry On Screaming is a film from 1966 about a detective and his partner who are investigating like a number of missing girls in the area, and it leads them to this old like castle-y mansion place where they find a mad doctor and his sister who have been kidnapping girls and turning them into like wax mannequins. It's just really funny, and the acting in it's quite like hammy, which makes it good. But anyway, I don't think I missed any. Did I miss any? No, I did not. Oh, I did. I missed one. I missed The Corpse Bride. So, The Corpse Bride is another Tim Burton film scored by Danny Elfman. I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry. So, The Corpse Bride is a story about this man, Victor. Right, so Victor's about to get this arranged marriage to a girl and he's like not sure about it. And then he ends up in the land of the dead. He's like trying to leave so that he can get back to get married, but then he meets Emily, the corpse bride, and through the movie they explain her story that she was supposed to like elope with this man and he like murdered her and stole her family jewels and stuff. But one thing I'll say about this film is it's beautiful, like aesthetically stunning. Like if you look at The Nightmare Before Christmas, they're both stop motion animation. Like the way that Tim Burton is like finessed his craft by The Corpse Bride is just incredible. Like it just looks so much more polished and elegant. Okay, so that was my top 10 favourite Halloween-y but not scary films. I hope you enjoyed that, and if I missed any films that you think are like good Halloween like family films, then leave them in a comment down below. I'll maybe do a part 2 if I can think up some more, or I could do my favourite horror films to watch in October, because I wanted to keep that separate from this because I had like so many not scary Halloween films to talk about. So I'm sorry I'm a bit out of it and have the cold, but I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in 2 days for the next vlogtober video. Bye!